Hi, I'm Dana. I'm co-founder and CEO of Neocom-ai. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to supercharge your customer data platform, CDP, and leverage AI product discovery for tailored marketing. Quickly about my company, Neocom. We at Neocom, we enable effortless discovery and work together with brands and retailers all over the world, such as Miele, Mars, and many, many others. Our mission at Neocom is we enable every company to understand their prospects and convert them into paying customers. And what keeps us awake all night is the fact that if consumers are looking for a new product today, they oftentimes go through a very frustrating process, which is called choice overload. So, for instance, when a consumer tries to search for an outdoor shoe today, they're most of the times confronted with a lot of product listing pages through different sites, through different ads. And what happens here is consumers have too much selection and a crazy price deviation dynamic and very, very complex filters because vendors are trying to always stand out with special feature offerings and special solutions that they offer that differentiate them from the other ones. But the problem is consumers are always finding themselves kind of in a frustrating situation, not being able to rate how certain things should be treated and should be rated. So what happens, consumers try to be experts in order to make the perfect product decision, at least in the online storefront. So what happens here, we as customers, consumers, try to gain more information, start different touch points, collect those informations until we are able to do a purchase decision. So today, up until 500 touch points are needed for one single product purchase online. And this comes always back to the fact that consumers do not care about your solution and your features and your special differentiation, not at least in the beginning of their discovery. They really care about their own problems. They try to solve a certain issue that they have right now, and that's why they are looking for your solution. So it isn't our task basically to take them by hand and guide them through the selection and through the sheer amount of products that vendors are offering. So to bring it to the numbers, product discovery is very frustrating for shoppers and very experienced for companies. More than 50% of all consumers are bouncing away from listing pages because of this choice overload phenomenon, and they need to create additional touch points in order to gain enough information to be able to make this purchase decision. And some of those, throughout the discovery phase, they just buy offline because this is simply the easiest and quickest solution. Because in the retail store, in the offline store, you get to talk to a salesperson. That person is giving you the expert knowledge that you need in a short amount of time. So you're going to be able to do this purchase right in one process. Not without a reason, conversion rates are in offline stores up until 45%, whereas in digital storefronts, conversion rates are around 2% or even less. At the same time, companies don't know much about their visitors. So today we are trying to somehow get the information out of the consumers based on transactional data. And what happens right now in online ads is some sort of spray and pray behavior, and try to push as much leads into the funnel and optimize basically a bad funnel, but not really getting a personalized experience. That leads to low conversions, to high return rates, and in the end to unsatisfying customer experience and low NPS. At the same time, it is very, very important to take a look at data and take personalization very seriously, because the search and compare since 25, 30 years has not changed. So when I want to buy something online, I either go through Amazon and they will tell me what's the best product, or it is always a search and compare behavior. You have a very long listing page and you kind of compare features with each other and need to gain more information about that. So getting to know the users and getting to know their problems and getting to know what they are looking for and offer a personalized experience is a key factor nowadays in the customer experience when it comes to product discovery online. So Forbes is saying zero-party data is basically the new oil, especially if we take a look at the new cookieless future. It is much more important now to know exactly what your customers are looking for and not offer a unified experience for every single person. Klaviyo CEO is saying it's not about sending more emails, it's about considering the entire view of the customer and sending smarter emails and smarter messaging. And preventing choice overload is a very important aspect in that combination, or in the discovery phase in general. It increases retention by increasing NPS, customer satisfaction, and pushing you as a vendor to be seen as an expert. It will reduce the cost of the vendors because of personalization, knowing exactly what the users are looking for and taking them by hand, ultimately leading to top-line growth, increasing conversion rates, increasing engagement rates, and reducing bounce rates, because you offer them an alternative entry point to a discovery process, not only this search and compare and feature fucking and feature comparison. So generate and collect quality consumers. How can we generate and collect quality consumer data? First of all, I think the most important aspect is, since 2013, Safari and Firefox are blocking third-party cookies by default. And from Q3 2024 this year, Chrome is also joining the cookieless experience for the future. So it is now than ever important, more than ever, that vendors are really thinking about how is going to be the future without having cookies in place. How can I still get more insights about my customers? How can I still offer the same ad experience that I'm doing right now? So actually, I'm getting now less data, structured data, and how can I maintain still my performance, even if it's not the perfect personalization flow I'm offering. This will affect how we do data collection and targeting. This will affect how we do ad personalization and definitely ad efficiency. And this will cause us to have a better skill set and do more strategic activities to gain more information out of the users. So for that, the answer is very simple. We need to collect data without cookies. And for that, there's two types of data: zero-party data and first-party data. Zero-party data is basically unbiased information directly coming through your user. So it has no filters on it. It is directly coming from your interactions with the users and completely clean data. I'm going to be telling in a second how to collect those. And first-party data is basically transactional data, which is being collected per, let's say, search session, or you visited certain websites, heat maps, and so you do custom attribution on this, create your segments, and synchronize it with your CDPs, basically. First-party data collection, I would say this is the core value that a CDP is offering today. So what are the options that we have to collect those data? There are product quizzes to collect zero-party data. So you basically answer certain quizzes. In return, you get maybe vouchers back. These solutions are quick and easy, have high flexibility. You can just ask whatever you want. And I would say the challenges of the product quizzes are basically that you do not give an instant voucher or instant reward for your consumers. So there is no reason for the customers or the consumers to actually walk into these product quizzes. You need to kind of try to give a reward back to get the users into that funnels. Obviously, for first-party data, you can use heat maps and user interactions through, for instance, Google Analytics or in general website analytics. Get those transactional data out, do custom attribution on them, and do your customer segments and play automation on those. So this is a very straightforward source of data collection that I would say every single person, every company has today. There's this guided selling field where obviously Neocom also is playing in. So you have through a channel with your consumers, you have an always active conversation area to collect those data. At the same time, you reward your customer with the perfect product. So you reduce, on one hand side, choice overload by offering a guided product discovery that they enjoy and think they get the direct reward by finding the perfect product. At the same time, you could place whatever information you want to gain from your customers through that experience and build up your CDP data based on those interactions. How that can look like, I will show shortly. Last but not least, we can collect data out of exit intent pop-ups or newsletter signups and reward the customer with vouchers and so on. The most important aspect here is to reward the customer, to make them, to show them why they should actually input their data and why it is so important that the companies need this data, and actually why they're using this data, or for what they're using the data for. Let's make a deep dive into the guided selling interaction. So how does a guided selling tool look like in general? Reducing choice overload on one hand side, on the other hand side, taking a look of what sort of data we can collect in this channel, which we build up with the consumer. So how Neocom works basically behind the scenes. We have three major processes. It starts with a data injection, continues with the discovery engine, and ends up in the zero-party data collection. So about the data injection part, first of all, the groundwork of the usage of Neocom or a guided selling solution is basically your shop product feed, or in general, your products. On top of that, we at Neocom, we put an expert knowledge layer on top, which gives the machine some additional qualitative information. So by default, a guided selling conversation is definitely better than every filter, because the machine simply knows certain information. Like in this example, you see For the operating noise level of, let's say, a fridge, you see that low decibels are those products with low decibels are the better products compared to the high decibel products. So the machine knows certainly some information that it would have not known before that. And in addition to that, we create use case-based questions so the consumers understand all the question and answers that have been asked throughout this process. And it's not complex filters that nobody can actually understand and answer. In the dynamic decision tree, which is the discovery engine, we push the consumers individually through a tailor-made conversation flow to present them in the shortest amount of question and answer process their perfect products. So the dynamic decision tree, which we call, is basically a constant A to Z testing, making sure based on product availability, price changes, and anything else that is happening in the back end, that the consumer always sees those information and questions that are relevant in that certain moment. So we could say, if you look at it from a mathematical point of view, every single consumer gets a very own tailor-made conversation flow. So obviously, dumb question will never be asked. And this engine we call dynamic decision tree. And after a certain amount of questions, until the machine has an accuracy level, reach an accuracy level, it will show you first products. And this is being passed through our recommendation engine. In there, we show, we're not only showing the consumers the best fitting product and take it or leave it, but actually we have a selection of products based on the input, price deviation, price changes, availability of the vendors. So we could even show decoy pricing, like this is the best match, but you might do a compromise with the price because it's also the most expensive one. Here's the budget version, and maybe something in between. And most of the times, only with these two aspects, data injection and discovery engine, we push average order value and push conversion rates. Why? Because when users see, for instance, in a decoy pricing setting, when they see they could have for, let's say, 20% more pricing, they would get 60% more service, let's say, or features. They would rather select the more expensive product, whereas maybe the best value for the price would have been somewhere in between, is the most famous one. They would have bought the most famous one through the normal search and compare process. So we see direct impact on average order value just through the recommendation engine right now. And last but not least, every single interaction with Neocom is a zero-party data endpoint, which you could collect and synchronize with your customer data platform. And this is basically the second value that Neocom is offering, reducing customer acquisition costs by collecting those data, creating 360 views of the individual customers, and do personalization out of those information. How does a Neocom dataset look like? So, for instance, this is Thomas. Thomas has made 2 advisor sessions, have seen 6 results in total, and made 2 purchases in the end throughout the last day. So 6 minutes ago, it has done the advisor, and in here you can see the exact interaction and data he left here, and you can see how many advisor sessions he's done, where he has bounced away, and with that process you can create basically a 360 view of the customer. And the more interactions these customers leave on your storefronts, the more precise the customer gets and the more detailed the customer profile gets. Obviously, when users are not logged in, and when they are new to your page, and they will go through Neocom, it will be starting as a hashed account. And as soon as, for instance, they are using our lead generation triggers, for example, save those results to your email address or share them with your best friend, they need to type in their email address and we will send them basically the results. At the same time, the vendors have a named account and can directly start with automations and synchronizing with CDP and so on and so forth. And how Neocom looks like in the front end, I will show you here an example of a vendor or a customer of Neocom. So here a consumer wants to buy a new dishwasher, and it has this choice overload effect, too many same looking products, crazy price deviation, filters are too complex. I don't know what's basket design or niche size. I'm absolutely overwhelmed, so I need help. On click, we will activate Neocom. This is basically the Neocom process. Understandable questions in a in a flow that every customer gets it, and that passes you through a channel until you find the perfect product. In here, you can also see the recommendation engine in the end. So there was the best choice, most expensive, for example. And the second one has lacks some features, but it's somewhere between. And on the right side, you can see the budget version. So this is how Miele, for instance, decided to use Neocom in the recommendation engine. But this is completely individualizable. So every Neocom customer can do their own recommendations in the end. And again, how it does look like, you can utilize guided selling to unleash the entire power. On the left side, you have your storefronts in whatever it is, so either Shopify, Salesforce, Adobe, SAP, and you name it. You maintain your Neocom advisors and help your customers to discover and engage with those unique alternative entry points in the discovery, and reduce choice overload, increase customer acquisition cost, increase average order values, and increase conversion rates. And while maintaining those advisors on your side, collecting very important or very useful zero-party data in the constant channel with your consumers, and pushing them through your CDPs such as Treasure Data, HubSpot, Klaviyo, Braze, Segment, Bloomreach, Salesforce, and all of those CDPs. So we have integrations for most of the known big CDPs. With Treasure Data, we have a great partnership, and basically we can offer any integration for any CDP. From there, you do your automation. Our solution engineers and implementation engineer can help you to make that happen. And if there is no CDP in place, you can still use the Neocom, very comprehensive Neocom analytics dashboards. We separate them in trends, insights, and purchases. In the trends, you can see the performance of your advisors overall, and you can also filter down to every single advisor, country, and circumstance, and track very precisely what are the conversion rates, what is the average order value increase, and optimize on the conversations on top of those trend information. You can see integration channels and traffic sources, and what source has performed best, or which implementation was the most successful one, for instance. In the insights area, you can see after very short amount of sessions, you can exactly see what your customer segments are. So for instance, you can see under road bike, there's this path which leads to this interaction and in the end to this purchase, basically. So after a certain amount of time, you know, your e-bike, for instance, your e-bike customers have this body size, are interested in this category because they're using it for gravel roads, and maybe women are the most those who do the most purchases, for instance. And these information you get after a very, very short amount of time and can optimize on those through the Neocom channels, the funnels. At the same time, again, you can synchronize the data and play back those informations throughout mailing and other channels to reactivate the customer, for instance. Here's an example of how you could leverage this information. So on the left-hand side, we have an example user profile. You know that person is a single household user. It has a small apartment based on your conversation that you have created with him throughout the Neocom advisors. You gained the information that it has a small apartment, it had allergies, and has a pet at home. And why you ask, how you can collect those information, just simply ask these. Even if those questions have no impact on the results, you could just place them. You can even put it away if you don't need it anymore. So you have a live market research tool with Neocom to collect exactly those information. You will pass those information, synchronize it with your CDP, and do certain activities, for example, on top of this. So at this example, you could send an mailing out, powerful and compact, the new stick vacuum cleaner, or effortlessly remove pet hair from your carpet, or pet and allergies. These tips will make life easier. So these are just some examples how you can act in the communication and how you can do the data activation based on marketing automation, which you can synchronize in your CDPs. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that was interesting. Let's together enable effortless discovery, and feel free to approach me on LinkedIn and drop me an email if you're interested in working together with Neocom, or in general if you're interested to speak about guided selling, to speak about first zero-party data. I'm happy to help. Thank you very much for the opportunity. See you hopefully soon.
Thank you for watching. Click the agenda link at the top of your screen to choose your next session.